Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another sports recap video. And yesterday, actually, a lot of this weekend, a lot of games that happened this week, uh, playoffs, and for the NFL, and then of course basketball games going on. First of all, we'll start with basketball. All right, first, the Hornets ended up beating the Suns 119 to 113. Kemba Walker scores 29 points, and also I don't know if you saw, but it was a half-court buzzer beater. No, it wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was a half-court shot. After the buzzer, he just tossed it, he lobbed it up there, and he ended up making it. It was pretty cool, and he didn't even notice. That was pretty funny. But yeah. So the Hornets now go to 19-20 in the season, and then Suns go to 9-32. Next, the Raptors beat the Pacers 121-105, and Raptors, they won again. Again, one of the best teams in the NBA. They're 30-12 in the season and 16-4 at home, so that's a pretty good record. And Pacers now go to 26-13, 12-8 away record. Next, the Wizards actually beat the Thunder 116-98 as Bradley Beal and Otto Porter Jr. Both score over 20 points. The Wizards now go to 16-24 in the season, and the Thunder go to 25-14. All right, next the Hawks ended up blowing out the Heat 106-82. The Hawks now go to 12-27 in the season, and Heat are even at 19-19 this season. Next, the Clippers win again. They beat the Magic 106-96. They ended up, I want to say they ended up going on a 17-2 run to end the game. Well, I don't know, but Clippers now go 23-16 this season, and the Magic now go 17-22. All right, next the Nets ended up beating the Bulls 117-100. Next I go to 20-21 this season, and the Bulls go 10-30. All right, and lastly, of course, my Lakers, man, they're struggling right now. They're really struggling. They lost a couple. I'll talk about that later, but they're just struggling in general. They get blown out by the Timberwolves 108-86, as Andrew Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns each get 28 points actually. So yeah, Lakers are just big struggling right now. They started off the game terrible. At one point, they were down like 20-8 in the first quarter. It's like, man, that's just terrible. But Lakers not going 21-19 this season, and Timberwolves going 19-21. So the Lakers are still hanging out in there in the Western Conference, but with LeBron being out, they're continuing to struggle. But listen, they're not playing. I don't know. They're just really streaky. Like I said, they have a really good quarter for like 5 minutes, and then they freaking suck for like 6 minutes, and they come back. They fight back for like another 5 minutes, and then they give up for another 6 minutes. So it's like, what can you do? Like, they're just streaky. But whatever. Moving on. Now to the NFL. There was 4 wildcard games that went down on the weekend. Very good ones, actually. First of all, the Colts and Andrew Luck beat the Texans 21-7. This game was actually pretty boring. The Colts started the game very well. I want to say the first 2 drives they scored. Yeah, and their defense was just amazing. It was 14-0 after the first quarter, and then they scored again in the second quarter. So it was 21-0 at half. I was like, this game's looking over. But although they still have a lot of time to come back, the Texans do. But they never did. Third quarter, both teams went scoreless, and then the last quarter, the Texans finally scored, but it was kind of too late. So the Colts win 21-7 as the Colts move on to the next round. Next, it's actually a pretty good game. The Cowboys ended up beating the Seahawks 24-22. This game was also kind of boring until the second half. First quarter, the Seahawks were up 3-0. Second quarter, the Seahawks finally scored. No, they had 2 field goals, and the Cowboys scored. So at half, it was 10-6. So that was a score. It seemed like it was a boring game, but it seems like in every NFL game, all these playoff games, the second half was fun to watch. The Seahawks Seahawks actually they scored 8 points in the third quarter, so the score was 14-10 after the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. And the Seahawks again scored 8 points, but the Cowboys come in with 2 touchdowns, 14 points in the last quarter. and win the game 24-22. So that was a pretty exciting game, like in the second half. All right, next, the Chargers ended up beating the Ravens 23-13. Another game that was boring into the second half, or I'd say the last quarter, honestly. First two quarters, the Chargers scored 6 points each, and the Ravens scored 0. So it was 12-0 going to the half. Third quarter, Chargers didn't score. The Ravens finally scored with a field goal. So going into the fourth quarter, the score was 12-3. So the game was pretty damn boring. But the fourth quarter, the Chargers scored 11 points, and the Ravens had 2 touchdowns and scored 14 points. So the final score ended up being close, 23-17. So Lamar Jackson, I thought they were going to replace him after halftime because he was not looking good. We had a couple fumbles, bad snaps, interceptions. It was looking bad, but they stuck with him. And he scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but it was too late. All right, lastly, the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, survived the Bears 16-15. Another game was kind of boring to the second half. But going into halftime, the Bears were up 6-3. Then the Eagles scored a touchdown in the third quarter, and the Bears didn't score in the third quarter. So it was 10-6 going to the fourth quarter. It's another bad game. But in the last quarter, the Eagles scored 6 points, and the Bears scored 9. And the Bears actually should have won the game. Well, Cody Parkey, their Bears kicker, misses a game-winning field goal to end the game. I want to say it was like a 46-yarder. No, 42-yarder. I'm not sure. But he missed a field goal. He didn't miss. But he hit the sidebar and hit the bottom bar and it went out. So it was very suspenseful watching that kick go. But Bears fans, I feel bad for you. Cody Parkey, I definitely feel bad for you, man. It sucks losing a game like that. Especially hitting the crossbar twice. I'm like, damn, that's like, yeah, that was tough to watch. But the Eagles, man, and Nick Foles. Nick Foles has becoming a playoff legend. But shout out to the Eagles, man. They survived, barely survived. But yeah, well, that was my sports recap video. Today, make sure you guys watch it's a college football national championship game. Number 1 Alabama facing number 2 Clemson. Both undefeated records, 14-0. So today's the championship. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you guys watch that again. It should be very exciting. Like, subscribe, good stuff, and I'll see y'all in the next video.